With all of the videos that I've shared about the benefits of living with less and the detriment of having too much clutter and overwhelm, I've even done videos on the psychological effects of clutter and what psychologists know about your clutter that you don't. I've never actually, to my recollection, done a video or a blog post that's about why I specifically chose to be minimalist. I've shared like little bits and pieces here and there, but today I want to share why I chose this specifically for myself. I think that all of our reasons are different, and a lot of times it depends on what we have going on inside of our lives. If you have any kind of stressful situations or life changes that are happening, sometimes that can cause you to be like, I need to get all of this stuff out and make some space for myself. So it can be unique for each person. But for me, I was really thinking about it, and it really came down to 7 main reasons that I chose to become a minimalist. I'm going to start off with the thing that I've shared the most, which is that the main reason that I chose to let go of things and to really focus on curating my space and having less was because of support. My main reason was definitely support, but I don't say it in the sense that I didn't expect for my home to give me more energy or to give me more time, which is something that I've discovered and found over the years is definitely possible. Like you can definitely curate your space and create a space that gives you different types of energy, even like a calming, rejuvenating energy or an inspiring, motivating energy. Our environments can really be optimized to just do so much for us. And bringing on certain types of energy is one of, I think, the greatest things that it can do. But that wasn't when I first started. I wasn't even thinking down those lines. I was literally thinking of, I need to have a structure that isn't going to fall apart. I need to have a structure to where I can take downtime and just rest and recuperate when I need to without having to worry about my home and like all of the mess that I'm going to come back to later. I've shared before that at the time when I first started looking into this, before the YouTube channel and the blog and everything else, was when I became a single mom of two. My daughters were toddlers. They were 2 and 4 at the time. And just kind of finding my way in this new world that was going to work for me and for them and allow me to better take care of them with what we had. Having less stuff meant that I was more easily able to maintain the space that we had, and that they were more easily able to help with maintaining that and help with their own things with their limited capabilities at those ages. I'm going to scoot my chair over just a little. The second reason, which kind of blends and ties in with the first one, but honestly, the second reason is even more prevalent in my life and the reason that I continue to practice minimalism today, and that was for mental health. I am very impacted by my environment. I think we all are, but maybe some are more sensitive than others. And I definitely feel like I'm more sensitive to the state of my environment than somebody else might be. So being able to have a clutter-free space means that I'm not feeling overwhelmed and stressed out all the time. Every time I start finding myself just like, I don't know where to start, I feel overwhelmed, or I'm stressed or irritated and feel like I can't find space to do things, I can usually look at my space and my space is not in order. I can sleep in a mess if I have to. I can play in a mess. I can be creative in a mess. I can do all of those things, but I can't do them as well as I can when I have a clutter-free space. I can't fully relax. I can't fully submerge myself creatively or productively if I'm doing it from a place of being surrounded by stuff that doesn't need to be there. It's very distracting and it's very difficult to find mental space when I don't have physical space. Not to mention in the past when I struggled with periods of depression or occasionally when I do go through periods of anxiety, having a clutter-free space has really helped to soothe and smooth out those times. When I'm anxious, I'm less anxious when my space is maintained. In fact, I get more anxious about my space when I'm already feeling anxiety. So I've noticed that that's like one of the areas that I focus on when I'm feeling super anxious. I'm like, oh, I just want everything to be clean because it helps me to relax. But even on the other end of the spectrum with depression, which I haven't really had bouts of in many years, but when I did, it kind of helped to feed into that number one of having a supportive space, because I was able to, again, take that downtime for myself. I was able to just feel like I could withdraw, recuperate, take care of myself without also having to feel upset about the house. And I've always seen our environments as this feedback loop, right? Like our mind creates the environment because we have a thought that leads to an emotion, that leads to an action, that leads to our environment. It's kind of like this process on repeat. But our environment then impacts the way we feel, the way we think, the mood that we have, how we feel about ourselves. And so it can be this like, snake eating its tail when you're surrounded by clutter and you feel like crap. And so your space looks like crap. So you feel even more like crap. Like, I can't even maintain my space. Look at this, I'll go lay back down. So I think that, even if having a clear space isn't a cure for mental health, it can definitely be a contributing factor, and it can really help during those periods of time. Another important reason to me at the time, that's not quite such a factor anymore, but it really was important at the time, was freedom. Having fewer attachments, fewer things to be responsible for. I already had the responsibility of raising two toddlers. I had the responsibility of, like being a working mom and all of these different things that were going on. And I didn't want to be responsible for more stuff. And I was moving a lot at the time. We were relocating, moving across states. I was trying to fit everything that I could into an SUV. And so it just made things a lot easier for me at the time to have those fewer attachments. Again, now that's not really such an issue for me anymore. I don't feel like I need to be detached from my space. I love the space that I'm in, but at the time it was really important. Number 4 is lost potential. It nags at me if I have something that I'm not using. Like, not even just the fact that it's excess or that I could be having money for it or that it's like wasteful and not sustainable. I mean, it does feel really great to be able to have a more sustainable lifestyle and to use the things that I own and not just constantly be dumping things. And it does feel good to be able to get money for something that I'm not using instead of just having the thing sitting there. I would rather take the $20 any day. If there's something that I'm not using and it's just sitting there, it nags at me. Like, all I can see is lost potential. This thing could be serving some purpose, and instead it's just sitting here. It's just being this wasted potential sitting in a dark drawer somewhere or in the back of my closet. Like, what's the point, Money, however, was a reason and a catalyst for me becoming and staying minimalist, because similar to the lost potential, if I can recoup money from something that I'm not using or like that's sitting there collecting dust, why not? Like, that just seems like a better decision to make. It seems like more of a return for my investment than hoarding something and holding on to it for some kind of potential future use, right? Like, I can have the money now. And especially when times were tight, when money was really tight, it was very helpful for us financially to be able to sell things that we weren't using and to, maybe buy something better later on when we could afford to. It was a no-brainer to choose the money over the stuff. Number 6, I enjoy curating. This is something that has grown over the years. I don't think was there at the beginning when I first started practicing minimalism, but it's definitely become one of my stronger reasons later in the years for continuing to practice minimalism, is because I enjoy curating. I find that I love my stuff more when I'm selecting it, when I'm choosing it and creating spaces that are very intentional and very specific and extracting the excess. I find it very enjoyable and rewarding. It makes me feel like everything is so me in almost an artistic way. Even if some people think that it's bland or that there's not enough color or that I'm missing X, Y, and Z, it doesn't matter. It's me. And number 7 was growth. I feel like I grew as a person when I started making peace with things, with letting go of things, not just the stuff either, but letting go of these concerns for the future, anxieties about the future, and just really kind of embracing and accepting my ability to take care of myself should something happen later on, or my ability to remember the memories that need remembering instead of feeling like I'm just stabbing myself in the chest every time I come across memories of worse times, just feeling okay with letting go of all of that. I was able to not only shed the past, but make room for the future, which is a whole different type of growth. I have space to make these videos, to play with my toddler or my dog, or to, do yoga or to work on my business because I'm not surrounded by things that I need to take care of and distractions all over the place. So that's me. That's what got me essentially to where I am today and why I choose to live the way that I live. I would love to hear your own thoughts and your own experiences down in the comments, whether you have been living a minimalist life and you've found some really unique or exciting benefits for yourself, or whether you have never even considered it and maybe have some concerns or some other thoughts that you want to share. The chat is open. Be sure to check the description for a variety of different resources that I offer for you guys, from my free resource library to my free workshop on how to create a holistic clutter-free space. I would love to help out in any way I can, and I'll chat with you next week.